Welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Welcome back to a brand new video. These are the 5 things we learned from Arsenal 2, N.Forest 1 over the weekend. Hit the like button, subscribe to the podcast as well. What were your key talking points of the game? Let me know in the comment box below. Number 1, Arsenal need goals. We need goals and we need more goals. I will agree with a couple of people who have said that Arsenal didn't score enough. Arsenal didn't actually kill off the game when we had the chance to. Now, when you lead 2-0 at the Emirates Stadium and you're playing Forest, we've seen this with Manchester City. They buried their game against Burnley. We've seen it with Brighton as well. They buried their game against Luton Town. So when you're playing against Nottingham Forest and you're competing with Manchester City, Newcastle, Brighton, these clubs are going to score goals, right? They will create chances, they will score goals. The one thing I saw in that game is Arsenal a little bit struggled to create chances. Actually, apart from the 2 moments of brilliance, I think we missed 1 or 2 more chances. It was a very different game. It was very, very different from what we saw last campaign. Arsenal really creating a lot of chances and failing to put them away. This time, we didn't create well, we didn't create enough, and we didn't actually put those scrappy chances away. So I think we will need more goals if you're going to win convincingly, especially now that we have a couple of difficult fixtures coming up: Crystal Palace, Man United, and a couple of other games. Now, it could be first game. It could be the first game syndrome. Arsenal don't win first game. Arsenal really become a little bit, cold feet at on the first game. But we need to be a little bit better than that in terms of creating chances, in terms of scoring goals. 15 shots on goal, 7 on target, 2 goals. The conversion ratio was very small. So that is point number 1. We need to kill off games, and we can only do that by scoring a couple of goals. Number 2, the tactics from Mikel Arteta were absolutely superb, and they worked out. I don't understand the people who are saying that Thomas Partey playing at right back is actually a problem. I don't see it as a problem. If he's going to start at right back and invert into midfield and give us those numerical superiorities, those overloads in midfield, it is something that we actually benefited from. Now, the tactics were very easy because Mikel Arteta anticipated that Nottingham Forest were going to come to stop us by putting so many players at the back and also playing so many players in midfield. So you look at Morgan Gibbs-White, you look at the likes of Yates. There's so many players in that midfield. The tactic for Nottingham Forest was, can you overload the spaces? Can you pack the spaces where Arsenal used to, pass the ball? Can you pack the spaces where Arsenal, those channels? Can you block the channels? Can you block the passing lanes? And then, can you overload, players? Can you surround their players so that they cannot actually find each other? So what Mikel Arteta actually did, he played with 3 midfielders: Rice, Odegaard and Kai Havertz, and he played a 4th midfielder in Thomas Partey, who was actually coming from the right back. And to add to that, Julian Timber then naturally inverted into midfield, so we played with almost 5 midfielders in that game. And that actually gave us a little bit of a numerical advantage in some situations. It also helped us open up some spaces. It helped us, put some players out of the game. Because Saka had 2 players on him, Martinelli almost had 2 players on him. That meant that if we had more players going forward, we could actually use those spaces. And you could see Declan Rice getting into shooting spaces. You could see him, trying to score because he was literally left alone as other players were occupying Saka and Gabriel Martinelli. So I love the tactics from Mikel Arteta. They were absolutely spot on. If they want to block your midfield, how about you block theirs, right? Because they played no football last campaign, in that game. They played no football. They came to stop Arsenal, and eventually it failed. Number 3, Leandro Trossard needs to start every game now. Now, right from preseason, I've said this. He's going to be a key player for Arsenal. This season, Arsenal need a star man. Saka is a very good player, but we are too reliant on Bukayo Saka. Everything we do, everything this Arsenal team does, it is either through Bukayo Saka or by Bukayo Saka. That has got to stop. The right-hand side is really, really, impactful. I think that is one thing that Arsenal are really grateful for. But the left-hand side should be impactful as well. And for me, we have a player who's got every ability, every inch of determination to make sure that our left-hand side is as good as the right-hand side, and that player is Leandro Trossard. When he comes on, Arsenal created chances. When he came on, Arsenal created chances. The one thing you love about Trossard, the same thing you love about Saka, is they're not afraid to try out things. They're not afraid to do things. They're not afraid to run after you. They're not afraid to put that ball into space and then run. They're not afraid to, start a run and then, just blast forward. They're not afraid to take a shot. They're not afraid to try anything. So I'm not saying Martinelli should drop. I'm not saying Kai Havertz should drop. I'm not saying Rice should drop. I'm saying Trossard needs to start. Now, I do not care whether he's going to start on the left, on the right, at center forward. That is up to Mikel Arteta. He understands the players better than we do, and he understands football better than we do. Don't even, say no to that. So if Mikel can just, right, if Mikel can just find a way of integrating Leandro Trossard in that starting 11, he's going to be a key cog in the machine. He's got the ability to have 25 goal contributions in a campaign. We will need that. We will need that. Saka has already started. Gabriel Martinelli has already started. Leandro Trossard needs to be given the same advantage, the same the same chances as these other players, because the potential of Trossard is almost the same potential of Saka and Martinelli in this Arsenal team, and the same potential of Kai Havertz. So if you think Trossard should start, hit the like button. Let me know in the comment box below, and let's move over to point number 4, which is Declan Rice was purely superb. He was very good on the game. He was very good in that one. Now, that is why we signed him. I've always told people that he's going to be an engine, and later, sooner or later, we will actually see Thomas Partey fading away a little bit. And that's what we saw. But what I liked about this game, especially with Declan Rice and Thomas Partey in the partnership, Rice was more of going forward and Thomas Partey was more of going backwards. Now, this is not the same thing we saw against Monaco. Against Monaco, there was a lot of collision. There was a lot of, boring football for me from the two of them. And it looked like the relationships were actually not there. But right in this game, it was very different. Kai Havertz was actually literally, creating a lot of space for Rice to arrive into and dive into. And then Thomas Partey had kind of a certain limit where he was like, this is my limit. I can't go beyond this, because then I would be intruding into Declan Rice. And you could see Declan Rice, having a very good game, the game of his life, shooting, trying, this and that, and then trying to assist as well. But one thing you loved about Rice is him going out to, this game was more like a manifesto for him. So he came out and said, this is what my game is all about, and this is what I'll do. It was, he laid his manifesto out there, and boy oh boy, I loved it, because number one, the interceptions, he did make only one interception in that game, which was actually very key, but you could see his anticipation of the ball. You could see that he was predicting where the ball was going to come from and where it was going next. That is going to be very key, because Arsenal will need to win possession a little bit quicker, especially when you play Man United, Chelsea, Liverpool. You want to win possession a little bit quicker, and you want a player like Rice who wins the ball back quickly and then releases Saka, Martinelli, and all these other guys. And we saw that today. We saw that on Saturday. So with Rice, I'm going to say future captain at Arsenal, big player. Big player. If he can give us those performances in big games, we have a guy. That guy is called Rice. And lastly, it was a very good start. I love the energy, and I love the willingness and determination to go and go again. Now, it wasn't 5. It wasn't 3-0. It wasn't 4-0. Yeah, I understand. And I've already seen the energy, the negative energy, the toxic energy on Twitter, on Facebook, or people saying, well, Arsenal, look at Arsenal, they're already falling off behind Man City. I think there is a difference between understanding the game and sheer stupidity. When you go, Arsenal have already, fallen behind Man City, that is absolute stupidity. But when you look at the game and you're like, Arsenal didn't actually do enough to kill off the game, then I would really understand that you understand the game. One thing I loved about this game is the good start. that Arsenal team went out there and dominated. That is going to be part of our season. We actually went out there and created, a few problems for them, and we won a game which is going to actually characterize the games we're going to play in this season. You see, Nottingham Forest is not the only team that's going to play 20 midfielders in midfield against Arsenal to stop us. Goodson Park, Sean Dyche will do it. Crystal Palace will do it. Brentford will do it. So many clubs are going to do it, and you don't blame them because Arsenal is much better, far better than all those teams, and they don't have the budget we have. They don't have the quality we have. They cannot go against us 1v1, man to man. So they've got to go. Let's play collective. Let's try not to concede. Let's stay in shape, and then we can catch Arsenal on the break. It was never going to be easy to break them down. This was not Man City Burnley, where Burnley were at home, and they really felt we could open up the game a little bit and try to give our fans a show. First game in the Premier League. This was Nottingham Forest being completely conventional, completely pragmatic. Hit the like button, subscribe. I'll see you right in the next one. Those are the 5 things we learned from that game. My name is Cossy. I'll see you right